guys about guns today. So, gun violence in America has become a serious, serious problem. We hear about it all the time. Shootings at schools, shootings against innocent people, shootings against innocent police officers. Obviously, we need to be doing something differently when it comes to gun control. And I'm sure it's crossed a lot of your minds, because we hear about it all the time. School shootings. Is my school safe? Can this actually happen on our campus? And the scary reality is that it can. And it's not even only on schools that gun violence has become a problem. So I have a picture for you guys. This is Staten Island. This is where I'm from. Staten Island's roughly 13 miles long. It's not very big. So this past year, there have been 18 shootings in Staten Island. And that's saying something. Violence is starting to get out of hand, and we need to be doing something about it. But before I give you my proposed solution on how to deal with gun violence, I want to talk a little bit about the laws already in place regarding gun control, because a lot of people aren't really aware what the laws are. So here in Pennsylvania, getting a gun, how do you go about it? You go to a gun store. The first thing you need to do, no matter if you've bought a gun before, if you've gone to this gun store before, anytime you go into a gun store to purchase a gun, you need to go through a background check. And this does a number of things. First and foremost, checking that you're 18 years of age. We can't be selling guns to kids, obviously. So, and then it checks a number of other things. If you've ever committed any violent crimes, you can't purchase a gun. If you've been determined to be mentally ill by the court, you can't buy a gun. If you've got a restraining order, or if you've been an abusive spouse or parent, anything like that, can't buy a gun, obviously. If you're a drug addict or an alcoholic and you're known to be so, cannot buy a gun. So, and then once you've bought a gun, you need to go and get a license in order to carry it in public. If you buy a gun, you can legally transport that gun unloaded in a container with ammunition in a separate container back to your house, but it has to stay there. To carry a gun out in public, you need to go to your local sheriff of the county in which you live and hand him an application for this special license. And there's a whole nother list of regulations that you need to go through in order to get that. And the sheriff has 45 days to do an investigation on you to see whether or not he thinks you're a good candidate for someone who should be able to carry a gun in his community. So even if you've got a bad reputation for being a violent person, or he doesn't think you have good character or anything like that, he can revoke your right to carry a gun. There are a lot of rules and a lot of regulations that go into determining whether someone is legally allowed to carry a gun. So now that you sort of have an understanding of what it requires to go about getting a gun legally, we need to talk about what we've been doing to try and reduce gun violence and why it hasn't been working. So there's this big push recently to ban assault weapons, but most people don't know what that means. So here I've got two guns for you to look at. They look very, very similar. On top is the AR-15, and here we have the M4A1. The M4A1 on the bottom is a military assault rifle. That means that it's an automatic weapon. You pull the trigger and it sprays bullets. We don't need these kinds of guns. This is excessive. And that's a great point, but these guns have been illegal since 1986. You can't have them, and in the past 30 some odd years, you haven't been able to get these guns. So there's been this push to ban assault weapons. Now in the gun or pro-gun community, these are known as the best guns for self-defense. They're single fire, just like a pistol is, but they're lightweight and they're very accurate. So very effectively, you could defend your home with one of these. Unless you're defending your home from a horde of zombies, you don't need one of these. So that rule I think we should keep in place. Automatic weapons, overkill. Assault weapons, not assault rifles, we need to not have those, but assault weapons, I think, if you look up the definition of assault weapon, it's just a gun that looks too much like an assault rifle. So that sort of speaks for itself. And so the other issue we have is with these gun-free zones. They're not working. School shootings are still happening. And so the push to ban assault weapons and to have schools be gun-free zones isn't working. And it's obvious because if you look at the Virginia Tech shooting in 2007, these are the guns that were used. These aren't military assault rifles or even assault weapons. The most deadly shooting in American history was committed with 2 handguns, 17 clips of ammunition, 170 bullets in a backpack. He just reloaded them a bunch of times. So there's been the push to ban big clips because they're deadly. That's not doing anything, and we're wasting our time. We need to be looking at more important issues. So as you can see, we don't need to be banning scary guns, and we don't need gun-free zones because they're not working. So why do you think you've never heard about a mass shooting on an airplane? Airplanes are gun-free zones, and they work. Why? Armed security and metal detectors. They're very effective at deterring people from bringing guns on planes. You couldn't if you wanted to. If somebody wanted to sneak a gun onto a campus, it wouldn't be that hard to do. Try and sneak a gun onto an airplane, you're going to get arrested very fast. So now we have the idea, okay, we can make schools safe if we just put metal detectors in guards, but in order to make an entire campus gun-free, we would need to build a giant wall around the campus, and at every entrance we would have to have these people. But as most of you probably know, building giant walls costs too much money and they're super ineffective. Sorry. So what is my proposed solution to this awful problem? I've got a better idea. Gun-free zones, they don't work unless you enforce them the right way, but those cost too much money. We allow students and teachers to carry guns on campus under a strict condition. We have an elective class on campuses that need to be offered at every campus, a gun safety class. You cannot carry a gun on a campus unless you meet 3 requirements. You need to have the right to buy a gun legally, to carry it legally, and you need to have passed this class. And at the end of the class is an exam, a standardized exam, that would sort of test your ability to carry, operate, transport a gun safely. And these things will be taught in the class. So professors and students alike can take this class and learn ways to own and operate a gun safely so that we reduce this idea of, oh, if students have guns, accidents can happen, students can be immature, somebody can get hurt. If you've taken this class and you've passed the standard exam, that idea goes out the window. You now know how to operate the gun safely, and it could teach you a number of things that you could use further on in life also. How to talk to your kids about guns if you decide to have children. How to have guns in your home and make sure that your kids can't get their hands on them. Because that's another big issue. Kids see guns and they say, wow, that looks cool. I want to play with those. Not good. We need to be talking about guns. Too many people are afraid to talk about it. If we talk about it and we're serious about it, I think we can be very effective in using guns in a safe manner. If everybody has guns, or even if you don't want to carry a gun, you don't have to, but I think you should have the right to carry a gun so long as you do it in a safe manner to promote a safe, educative environment for everyone around you. So that's sort of my whole spiel, and I just want to go over one quick idea. If no one has guns, then everybody is safe, but unfortunately that's not the case, because the more law-abiding citizens have the rights taken from them and aren't allowed to carry guns, the more power you put in the hands of citizens who aren't law-abiding and are going to carry guns, whether you tell them to or not. You guys probably all remember the terrorist attack in France, and it was an awful tragedy. Gun control in France is a lot different than it is in America. They can't really have guns. None of them are armed. All these people were shot and killed so fast, they had nothing to defend themselves with. If at the end of the day, there's one thing that I need to hammer home, it's that we need guns for self-protection. If you don't want one, you don't need one. But if you do, you should have the right to be able to protect yourself, again, in a safe way. We need to educate people on how to use guns the right way and make them available if we need them. That is all. Thank you.